Welcome to the Creative Kobold. I'm Gyra and today we are looking at all the dragon options in Reaper Bones 5. For this video we're only looking at the dragon minis that was only available separately from any set or bundle and meant for play. That means no dragons from the core set or expansions, and not the Dragon Slayer set or the Dragon Bust. With that said, let's have a look at some dragons. Alright, starting off we have Valphuryx, which has a very distinct design. It looks almost like a crocodile merged with a dragon, and I believe it's meant to be a swamp-dwelling creature. You can see in its anatomy that it's more meant to swim than fly, with its thick tail and relatively small wings. Valphuryx's pose makes it look like it's quietly sneaking up on its prey. The base itself is mainly an old large tree stump sticking out of some mud and stone. Next up we have a ganzarox, which is one I was especially looking forward to as I love D&D black dragons, and this is certainly a black dragon. The airy skull-like face and forward-turned horns make this a no-brainer, though the horns are slightly more curved like those of a ram. Another thing I also really like is the wings, which just has a very pleasing curve to them. There is one thing I'm not too fond of, and that's the base. Sure, it looks really good, but such a large and very specific base. I like my bases as simple as possible, so that the miniature looks like it can belong in any type of area I'd use it in. Dragging along a tower ruin isn't really what I want. It also doesn't help that a large chunk of the tail is part of the ruin base, making it practically impossible to remove. Speaking of, that gap on the tail will probably need more than just the hot water treatment to fix. But all in all, this is still a very beautiful dragon. Another one I really looked forward to was Shavindra the Slayer. Very obviously a blue dragon with its massive body and facial horn. I actually don't have many blue dragons, and certainly not of this size, so that's very welcome. Speaking of size, I actually thought this would be slightly larger. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely a rather large miniature, just looked larger in the pictures and videos during the Kickstarter. There also seems to have been some bubbles in the mold for this, so there are these small boils between some of the scales on one side of the tail. They should be rather easy to remove though. Next up is Valphuryx, which is the only translucent dragon in this video, but not the only one in Bones 5. The translucent black makes it great for some sort of shadow dragon, though the type is hard to tell. The horns that go out and backwards don't fit any D&D dragon I know of, even if it looks pretty great. I think I'll personally paint this like some sort of cosmic creature, probably with some color shift paints and whatnot, and keeping most of that translucency. The rock base it has is also translucent, and it's hollow with a lot of room, Could definitely place some LEDs in here for added effect. Ildredis the Devourer is without a doubt a D&D white dragon. Even the base looks like it's a mound of snow. It has very damaged wings, which probably hurts a lot, so Ildredis is probably not in a particularly good mood. Definitely need to do something about that seam with the tail. I want to point out its pose too. A lot of dragon miniatures are standing upright or flying or whatever. Ildredis is instead walking on all four in a manner that looks really natural. I like that. Here's Kalanzar the Wicked, and it's without a doubt a classic red dragon. Slight waves on the horns look great. On the base is a scratched up shield and a broken lance, telling the story of some ill-fated adventurer. There are a lot of gaps that needs to be filled on this mini though. They're not pretty, even if the dragon itself is. And finally, Natavar the Ravenous. This one was originally released in Bones 2, but got a re-release with Bones 5. I don't have a proper fit for this as a D&D dragon. If anyone has suggestions, let me know in the comments. As with Ildredis, Natavar also has some heavily damaged wings. No wonder it looks so grumpy. The pose and the outstretched wings makes this dragon look really big, even if it's basically the same size as the rest of these dragons, with Valphuryx and Ildredis being just slightly smaller. Unlike the rest, it doesn't have a circular base. Instead, it has a very large, strangely shaped base, and again with a too specific design like a ganzarox. At least the tail isn't part of the base. I might actually try and make a separate base for Natavar and use this base as a terrain piece. The base again shows some sort of stone ruin, so probably a tower or a wall, but you can also see treasure piles around it, coins, weapons, chests and more. So that's our deep dive into all 7 Bones 5 dragon options. What do you think? Have any favorites? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.